There was one Democrat, one
Okay.
Republican, not one.
Okay, it's 5 o'clock. We are going to call the December 21, 2021 meeting of the Munster Board of the Munster Parks and Rec to order. First order is public input. Anybody out there from the public wish to say anything? If so, if you could come up to the podium and give us your name and address. Right.
You missed the retake that. It's okay, I got a good view. I can hear.
That's not bad.
My wife is happy about that too. And all that. Anyway, David Nellens, 1535 Ridge Road. I'm here to talk about relief for the Lions with respect to fees at the different facilities. I'm a 35-year Lion, and I'll try to repeat the stories as best I can remember them. The Lions have been very instrumental with the park department in this community. It goes back to Community Park, and Professor Spoon may know some of the stories better, but the Lions were instrumental with Vic Kirsch in acquiring the land for Community Park. And at the time, there was not a park department, or they were not set up to receive the land. And the Lions administered that land and oversaw to such time that the park department was organized and had the authority to hold land and make things happen. The social center, which is where we're trying to locate back into, was twice expanded by the Lions. The large meeting room was half the size initially when I started, and we put together the funds and expanded that building another section. And I want to say, for some reason, the figure of 60,000 for that expansion, because this was a significant number of years ago that we expanded that. And I know the park department has spent a lot on it, maintaining it, which we appreciate. It's a great opportunity for people to have some place to have parties, activities, other groups meet. But again, we've added quite a bit to that. We've made donations to the parks over the years. We've supported the Centennial Park, and I believe we made a $10,000 donation towards that when donations were kind of thin. In the same vein, we made a $10,000 donation to the Veterans Park to help that too. While that's not directly under the Parks Department, it enhances both sides of the street. People kind of think it's part of the Park Department. We do get involved with the 4th of July parade, which we've done for years. We provide the manpower to help get things started and organized. And again, that's a short version of a long list of things that the Lions do. Maybe some of the other Lions will step up and express their opinion. But again, over the years, and I'll stand corrected if someone knows otherwise, we've never paid a fee towards using the social center because of our involvement to develop it and make it what it is today. We also did not pay any fees at the clubhouse at Centennial Park because of what the Lions do. We bring people there, we do our steak fry there, and that gives exposure to the facility. A lot of people have never been there. That's just an opportunity to bring them in. And again, I just base that on the fact that we are involved, we do contribute. We make the signed contributions to the different leagues as they ask us involvement in the community. And again, the fundraising, most of that money stays in town. We do make some state donations, we make some national donations, but again, the vast majority of our money stays here in town. And I guess over the years, I've had the opportunity basically to serve all the positions in the Lions. I've been the treasurer, I've been vice president, I've been president. The only position I didn't serve was secretary because I really didn't want to do all that work. but we have other lines that have stepped up and done that. Just like here, Janice does an outstanding job putting together minutes and that. So that's kind of a short version of why we're asking for this relief, again, because of our involvement. I understand that there was a not-for-profit pricing set up to help those facilities or those groups. But again, I think what we've done helps justify what we're asking for the relief. And again, we do make donations. And it goes without saying, if something happens at the facility, we'll certainly cover anything that might be damaged or injured or whatever. So we're here to stay. We've been involved, even though the pandemic has kind of slowed us up and we haven't done as much because people don't want to gather up. But again, we're still here. We want to make things happen. So that pretty much concludes the items I wanted to talk about. And I appreciate the board listening and being here to help make these decisions and oversee what you do in the town. So thank you very much.
Thank you, David. Anybody else from the public wish to say anything? If not, we'll close the public input portion of the meeting and move on to the administrative matters consent agenda. The Lions Club matter is the first item for discussion, which will come after the administrative matters portion of the meeting, which is pretty short. So under administrative matters, the first item is the approval of the last meeting minutes. That's second. Moved and seconded. All in favor? Aye. Unanimous.
Aye.
She's on delay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot about
She's
that.
on delayed response on the road.
Aye.
Okay. Vouchers, we have two. I looked at them, they look okay.
Yeah, no questions.
I won't find any problems.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Unanimous. Reports. Mark?
Mr. President, you have a written report from me. I'm just going to highlight a few things. The Centennial Park Clubhouse, as you're aware, we did install the fencing in the danger zone on the north side. It also has windscreen on it to make it a little bit more aesthetically pleasing in that area. So there, part of the walking path in that area is off limits now, but that has been done. The shoring, they actually had to come back and do different shoring. We questioned a few things, and it wasn't. It just didn't look that strong to begin with, and we were right. And they did come back last week and completed that shoring, and they did a couple small minor shims to it even as late as yesterday. So we're happy with the shoring that has been done now in that area as well. The last meeting, we had brought to you a architect request for qualifications. I started working on a request for proposals for you with the intention to bring that today. I was approached by Dustin, as town manager, to ask from the direction that they're getting to, that he believes that there will be an efficiency if we do something that is broader than just a pro shop building. That whatever happens with the clubhouse building, that we have that same firm as a consultant be on board for us as a town to help us with that decisions, various direction as we decide which way to go.
For a new
Potentially new, potentially.
social center.
No, for the clubhouse, for the clubhouse.
So where the people go and pay their money to go golf, he wants to
No.
run that?
We would still look at the idea of a pro shop separate, but if the decision is made, if that building does come down, which seems to be an inclination that a lot of people have,
Either by.
what do we do in that area then after that's said and done?
Yeah, but I mean, isn't that gonna delay putting the
Yeah.
shop up where it ought to be in the
The
first place?
the hope is to still stay pretty aggressive. We're actually planning on meeting as early as tomorrow with the group that we're setting aside, myself, Dustin, Tom from planning, and then Jill from SEH to pull us in together to put together a good RFP for that, those same services.
I kind of think that just the pro shop is pretty simple, and I don't think we're gonna be looking for a world-renowned
Well,
designers of a place that's 1,000 square feet that's gonna hold golf carts.
I think that you're right. It's a matter of whether, what decision is made now that this is presented to us as a town. What are we going to do with that area? I mean, I've heard many areas from ideas that have been thrown around. Now, whether any of them stick, well, the idea of moving a new pro shop, are we storing carts in that same building? Are we storing them where they're currently at? Do we store them in a separate garage that's maybe not as pretty as the other types of buildings that are out there? So there's that side. Do we come back with a banquet hall? Do we come back with a restaurant? Do we
Yeah,
come
but I
back-
don't think that should have any effect on whether or not we put a pro shop by the first tee where it should have been in the first place. We're not talking about, an expansive building. If we tie it all into the others, we're gonna have a trailer out there next year when this.
Well, very likely that's gonna have to be the case anyways. I mean, and in talking to some contractors in construction with supply chain challenges, that to get a building up by spring, I don't see that happening.
Yeah,
I
to get a
mean,
building up by next spring.
by the following
2023,
spring,
because we keep putting off
Yeah,
the plan.
that would be the hope, at least to do that. But I think that there's a lot of contingency that items that connect to the existing clubhouse that have to be thought about. I mean, the electric that runs into the whole park comes to that clubhouse first. The networking, internet availability, fiber comes to that building first. We don't have it going anywhere beyond that. So we'll have to run that up to the hill. If we had washrooms at,
But engineers are smart people, let's figure that out. I mean, I don't think we should wait to see whether the clubhouse falls down or we take it down, because that will be, as Dave said, it could be years.
well, and I think you're right. But I do think, and I think I'm maybe not saying this
That's okay.
appropriately. I still think that they want to work on the schedule that we were presented, to be that aggressive, to do that separately. But at the same point, I think that there's an efficiency that, hey, when that person or that firm is that involved with putting that facility there as a new pro shop, that whatever decision is made, even if it's 3 years later down the road, that is the firm that would be chosen to help us with.
I'm going to disagree. I just don't think that there's a correlation between the two. Because as Jan said, that, these are engineers and architects.
And there's no way to say that engineering firm's gonna still be in existence. I mean, engineering firms are like amoebas. They buy others, they come, and some stay and some go.
So, I mean, with respect to Mr. Anderson's suggestion, I feel that we should just go ahead and, with our initial suggestion to get those.
And then they could work off of the pro shop. And if they're still around in 3 years or 5 years, whatever the legal matter is.
And at this point, we were just talking about getting some initial estimates on a proposal.
I mean,
That's it.
They can figure out what the electric or the sanitary is.
I mean, I agree. I mean, we were talking about something like the concession stand out of the ball fields, that's all we're talking about as for a pro shop.
Yeah.
We're not selling
Small.
golf clubs and shirts and all of that.
Simulators.
Yeah, some sleeves of balls and somebody take that money,
So-
that's about it.
So you're not thinking of washroom in that building?
Uh,
I mean,
Okay.
you put washrooms in that building, now you got sanitary up that hill.
But that's all could be put in through the design of the engineer. You just, look, all right, so you want a fountain or a faucet, you need 2 bathrooms. Plumbing is 1 sanitary line up there, electric, and let it go.
It seems to me that we're talking 2 different projects anyway, because if it's all gonna be tied into one building like it is now, where the pro shop is now, that's one thing, but that's not what we
Right,
envision.
right.
We're envisioning two separate projects.
It's
So why
completely
can't we
separate.
start the one project now? I mean, why put it off? I guess I'm not seeing it. I mean, I could see that it wouldn't even be the same people designing and I'm not even sure there's economies of scale to have one person do it both. I guess I'm just not seeing it.
Well, I mean, I can bring it back to you. I'm caught in the middle here. I'm
Yeah,
hearing
well,
from
I
you as
understand
my
that,
boss,
but I
I'm
guess-
hearing from that side as
I know,
our
but
financial
I think we're your
boss.
bosses. So I think, how's about you, do it the way we want to do it.
All right, I will put something together and bring it to your next meeting for you.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what you're in the middle of.
He's in the middle of,
Two different
he's in the middle between the guy in the corner
Yeah,
and us.
Okay.
So here's, you can blame us.
I think this
We
board,
don't think that
this
makes-
board is
makes much sense.
the boss, I think.
And then he can be mad at us.
I will update that.
And we certainly don't want to put you in the middle of it.
Yeah, that's
No,
not
I
the intention
understand.
at all.
No, it's just, I just think it's just a pretty straightforward thing. You put it where it should have been when it was built long ago, build that. When the attorneys and everyone else wants to fight over, figure out what happened over there, they can design that. And I'm sure it'll be two beautiful buildings.
All right,
It will
I
hopefully
will,
stand
I will
up for
work
what
on that,
15
bring
years.
that to your next meeting for you. Continuing on in the report, the recreation guide's out at the printer, that'll be out soon. Jill did complete her and renewed her certification for her CDRP. We're glad that she was able to continue to do that. We did buy a portable trailer for wedding chair storage, which previously was in the basement of the clubhouse, so we need to have that and keep those enclosed somewhere. We didn't have any other indoor space, so we kind of got a unique solution there a little bit for us to be able to keep it in our yard, but yet it's enclosed and they're also portable for us. The Centennial Building Clubhouse, we still have, to keep the building somewhat operational, we had to work on a circulating pump there to keep water and things flowing in the facility. And we're having some troubles with our older boiler. Luckily, we just replaced one boiler last year, so we're fingers crossed, and Kevin believes, based upon the input from our HVAC company, that we'll be able to get everything through the winter on one boiler, because we don't need it to be pumping as much because there's not any bodies around.
And if it doesn't,
And the desperation there.
Yeah, right.
Other than that, that's basically it on the report, unless you have any other questions.
no, I'm good, thank you.
Okay. That being the case, we move on to items for discussion. The first item is the Lions Club request to eliminate fees for their use of community park.
Mr. President, this is a letter, I had spoken to a few individuals from Lions in regards to this, and I want to make sure and just go on the record to say that we're not against them, and we thank them for all the time and efforts that they've done historically here in town. At the staff level, we don't have the authority to waive the fees. So we have the rate of $35 per hour at that particular facility where they're going to. That was what was mentioned, and I said, you know, if we wanted to seek anything beyond that, separate from that, you as a board have that authority to waive that, and that's what this letter here is asking for that.
Motion to waive the fee.
What are the meeting dates? Just out of curiosity.
They're seeking to do 2 meetings a month. Initially, it'll be 1. We have other things already scheduled for the springtime. But it basically would be the first and third Wednesdays of every month. Summertime, they kind of.
Daytime, nighttime?
Evening time.
Oh, evening.
5,
And we have conflicts.
5:30 to 9-ish.
Yeah, Wednesdays, we have a lot of Wednesday scheduling stuff. I'm surprised.
We do, it's kind of like ball fields. Everybody wants them at 6 to 8 at night, right? I mean, that's prime time. That's the challenge of what we have. But we have some scheduled recreational activity into the fall. We can put it on the calendar now and have it available for them. So, I mean, that's not a big deal, but I think right now it will be able to be made through and have that. I think we have 1 month in the springtime where we can't, we have another conflict already, but otherwise we can at least get 1 meeting a month in over at the social center. And I think the idea was to take a break for summer or go outside the shelters and then continue in the fall going back to the place.
So the only concerns from the department is just from a scheduling aspect. Is that what I'm hearing?
Scheduling, I would tell you that from our operational costs, from the financial side of it, that there is, it takes away our recreational opportunity. As you're aware, the school just pulled our craft show, told us we couldn't be in the school anymore. So the facilities with the closing of the clubhouse, the indoor recreational space that's directly under our control is that building. That's the space we have. But we understand that.
Ron didn't show up because he kicked us out of it.
But again, even what Lions Club does, it's recreation. It's recreation for those members. So I mean, I think it's still accomplishing that task of doing that. And of course, what results out of that are good things for the community. So I think from that perspective, I think that we're fine with waiving it. But we at the staff level did not have that authority to grant that.
I think there's no question that, as Mr. Allen has pointed out, Lions have done a lot for the town and for the parks and have donated a lot. And I really can't see any better non-profit group in the town when it comes to that. I also believe that they've never been charged, even they've been at Centennial now since Centennial's been up, but as they used to use the social center, I know that, and I don't think they were charged even then, so this would be like doing something new, but it's a reason for that.
But I think it's also important that why the Lions and maybe not another civic-minded oriented group,
Yeah.
that there is that history. That Mr. Allen spoke about, that's in the letter, that's in your packets, that I think is important. And I think that's, to separate that, because you don't want,
I understand the
brand new
precedent
nonprofit.
is an issue, but I'm not troubled by that. I also believe the school, they get to use some of the school property and they don't charge, the school doesn't charge either, other than the same they do for us, which is a custodian fee for the pancake breakfast. Anyway, I think you made a motion.
I did.
I'm fine, second it. I'm fine.
I'll wait for the-
Robin?
I'm just
anything?
kidding.
Yeah, I agree.
So we got a motion and
Second.
Yeah, I did.
all right, Michael second.
All right.
All in favor?
Aye.
Robin, I didn't hear you.
Second it.
Oh,
I'm sorry, I can't hear Harley.
All right. I take it you're a yes, an aye.
Yes, yes.
Unanimous. The fee is waived. For Lions only. Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, yes, thank you. All right, next item is landscape maintenance contract.
Mr. President, in your packet, you have a memo for me. We put out, we saw proposals for our landscape maintenance program for the coming year. We reached out directly to the vendors that we've dealt with in the past and didn't get much response. We only got one response from the vendor that we've had last year. And I think right now the landscaping businesses are in a great unknown with the salaries of what they're having to pay their staffs and quoting things. So luckily, the vendor that we had last year did offer a price. Now we expanded. Last year they did all of Centennial minus, except for the golf course. They did community park inside the ball fields and inside the pool. And we've added some community for them to do all of community park now, outside of the ball field fence lines as well as inside. They'll continue to do the same things at Centennials they've done in the past. With the inclusion of the roundabout that was added on Centennial Drive North and the median from that roundabout out to Calumet. Those are the town's responsibility to take care of there. And then we also added in this year, our next biggest property that we maintain of West Lakes. And then because of West Lakes and that subdivision, we didn't want to send our crew out to go do an acre out of John.
Oh, now it froze.
So we put that all together. Ultimately, their pricing, if I compared to what they did for us last year and what we paid them, it actually is slightly lower based upon just those areas. But by adding those areas, the price did go up for us overall. So they gave us two different prices, a 1 year cost of $104,788 just to do over 1 year. If we enter into a 3-year agreement with them, they discounted that by 5% per year. So our cost per year would be $99,548.60. In talking with our staff, including Kevin, we're happy with Great Lakes. They do a good job for us. They go above and beyond. A lot of the decorations, you'll see it out at Centennial, the hay bales, the pumpkins in the fall. that's on them. That's not something that we call for. He just does it because his name's on the job and they do a really good job for us. So we are bringing this to you with a recommendation to award to Great Lakes Landscape Management and we would recommend the 3-year term.
So moved.
Second. We're on the contract. It's talking about the-
It's on the.
I have it right on the summary.
It's on the summary page.
Yeah, I know, I don't see it in the contract.
I have it in, it's on an RFP,
I forgot my stuff.
proposal page. I actually didn't put it in your packets. It's an RFP formatted.
Attached as an exhibit.
Yes, we're gonna have to put a formal, letter together with it, spelling it all out. And we also have to, for our billing purposes, we pay it out of various, budget line items. We have a separate, the pool has its own separate line, and Westlake has its own separate one, community its own separate Centennial. So we have to, split that out and define that. But overall, if you award it at that grand total amount, I think we can take care of the rest of the administrative.
All right. It's been moved and seconded
Yes.
that we approve the land maintenance.
Aye. Yes.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All right, let's see what's next. Shelter use agreement.
Yes, Mr. President, this is a use agreement similarly to the approved ones earlier, or you approved them earlier this year for the use of the pool as well as the social center. Using that same protected language that Attorney Wicklund had put together for us, we put this together for a document just to have for when people rent our shelters. Again, it's an overprotection for us right now, but we want to just have something there to have almost as a quote unquote contract with a user to use those facilities. So there are some kind of terms and conditions for when they use those facilities. So bringing that to you with that recommendation to approve.
Well, what do you think? I mean, you're the attorney. I mean, I don't have a problem with it.
No, it definitely is in our favor. If I was on the other side, I would say.
All right.
Yeah.
So I'll make the motion to approve the agreement as written.
Yeah.
I usually.
Yeah, I know they don't read it.
I leave that
There's
for legal.
gonna be that one sticker.
I'm a motion to approve it.
Second.
But am I gonna?
Go ahead.
So I'll send you.
Okay, moved and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous. That brings us to the meeting schedule for next year, 2022. We're gonna do away with the first week of the month, or first Tuesday of the month. Go back to one meeting a month, which seems to make sense since number one, we used to have it over at Centennial, and most of the time it was just to approve vouchers, and since those can wait a little bit, I think it's a good idea.
And there's no conflicts with any holidays or anything, so what you have in your package is presented, it's basically the first Tuesday of every month at 5 o'clock here at Town Hall.
All right. You want a motion for that?
I would ask for a motion to approve that as the calendar for the 2022 meeting schedule.
Yeah. We down to 300 bucks.
I have a motion to approve the meeting schedule.
Second.
Moved and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And next meeting in January will be the election of new officers, including the president.
He's right. I don't think I'm on that.
The existing president
I've been
wants to
skipped
tell you.
like
We need a motion.
I was vice president.
Motion adjourned.
I think you're right.
I was.
Were you really?
I'll second.
All right, so second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The Euro.